Hi, this is János, this is Real World Audio, and as you see, I'm still deciding whether to grow a beard, but in a few days you will see how that went. So today I'm going to talk about digital versus analog. This is going to be a little bit different from anything you heard so far, hopefully, and importantly, digital is amazing. And most importantly, for those of you who have been following my channel, you know that the main focus of my attention is analog, and especially early analog recordings. And you might be wondering how good those system choices that I make and that I recommend are for digital. Is it any good? Because if I optimized for analog and early analog, how does that sound with digital, right? A system that's geared towards like digging into the heart and soul of music. What can it do with digital? Because digital is supposed to be just numbers, and it's in the realm of the intellect, and you have to be like absolutely dampened cabinets and high feedback, high current, newest technologies, and just crunching numbers, right? No, you are dead wrong. Completely, utterly dead wrong about it. And I'm not saying that that kind of approach cannot be satisfactory. Yes, there's lots of examples for that, and a tremendous number of very happy audiophiles. And if you are one of them, don't have any second thoughts about making the wrong choice, because you have made the right choice. Don't worry. Now I'm talking about how digital sounds on a system that is geared towards early analog. And what was the fundamental change for me that I've experienced compared to these mainstream systems? Well, first, let's look at the material that you're listening to. So within digital, there is a realm that I call the ultra digital that engages the best that digital has offered for us. And what I call ultra digital is music that has been created in the computer domain, basically. And there's a lot of artists who have generated music just like with synthesizers, basically are completely artificial music that has not touched acoustic instruments. And you would think that that approach that I have, that is 100% aimed at reproducing acoustic instruments with the greatest intensity. I mean, and under intensity it means like the deepest connection to the soul of the music. How does that work with something that never touched anything acoustic? And I can tell you guys that listening to music like that, for example, Vangelis or Jean-Michel Jarre, who mostly just synthesizer music, and we can look at any and every other artist, including Kraftwerk. Their music is just beyond imagination how it comes through when it's played in a system that's geared towards early acoustic. It just hits you like you never imagined. And it's because you are not trapped on the surface with a massive show that you get with the mainstream approach, where everything is bigger than life, everything is just exaggerated and showy but gimmicky, because it has no substance. But if you have not heard any other approach, then you have no idea that it's just gimmicks and surface. What gives you that idea is that after that experience, you just have a hunger in you, a mindless beast that is devouring your soul, just wanting more and more. You want more resolution, you want more bass, and you just more, I want to consume more. It just kicks you to the next gear of a mindless desire to upgrade your equipment. And when you have a system that's geared for reproducing acoustic instruments, that has the exact opposite effect. So when I listen, or any of my friends or anyone who came and listened to like Jean-Michel Jarre, they have like a life transformative experience, and they don't even think about the sound quality, but they just get absorbed so deeply in the music that it is just incredible. And they said that, okay, I've been an audiophile, or like my husband has been an audiophile for 20 years, but I never experienced anything close to this. And that's what I think music is all about, that you connect to the music. And if music can take you to places and have an impact on your life, has the transformative power that you had some unsolved major emotional trauma in your life that you couldn't deal with, and the music helps you to fix that, to solve that, to reach that trauma. Maybe you don't even realize there's something like that lurking in your life, and then the music, it connects you with that, and it helps you to work it out. And that's what is happening when you have a system that is built like that. And that's why those of you who are just mindlessly thinking about how can I kick digital to the next gear, and forgetting about analog instruments, I mean acoustic instruments, you are not optimizing your system to acoustic instruments, then your system is never going to satisfy you. It's just going to satisfy your hunger, but not your actual heart's desire. It's going to be unfulfilled forever, no matter what you do. So why I am talking about this is because Tim sent me a few messages, and I hope, Tim, it's okay if I read out about that. And he said that he was looking at my paradigm shift video that I recently posted, and so sad to see so many missing the music, partially because of digital and partly few are attracted to acoustic music and analog. And I think that's the saddest consequence of this overindulgence with the technology, is that we are missing music. And I think it's a great thing to have like digital music, and not just music. And under that I mean not just digitally produced music, but music recorded in the digital age. But if you are only fixated on that, then you are just looking at probably the last decade of recorded music, of recorded history. And it brings you tunnel vision. Let me reiterate, tunnel vision. Because each decade, the focus of the how we record music and what we record, including the technology, what the musician needs to do, how they need to approach music, what is the mastering, what is the editing process involved for music that actually sell and gets to you, so that, and to me, so that we can listen to it. In every decade, basically, it drastically changes. And if you are accessing only what has been recorded in your current decade, that's just absolutely hypermassive tunnel vision. And if you are fixating your system to exclusively perform well with that, you are doing the greatest disservice that you can do for yourself. And by limiting yourself to something extremely narrow. And I dare everyone that you should explore the ages and see which was the one that's closest to your heart, because it's very rare. It does happen, yes, that the music of our decade is just so enticing, and yes, I can tell you guys, in the last 2 decades there's quite a few good music. Well, not quite a few, but there's some music that's been made which is just absolutely fantastic, and I feel it deeply. But going back in time, the number of this music is just explodes exponentially, tremendously, and wow, this was crazy. I had some electrical instability in the house, and my light here that just started blinking, and the camera shut down, and it was just totally epic. I never experienced anything like that. So I would be very curious to see what has happened. I really wish I had some meter hooked up to the wall outlet, and I'm really glad that my camera didn't get fried. But this was something utterly amazing. So where did I left off? I think I was talking about analog and digital, and really what I wanted to show is this. It's an RCA Camden record, The Art of Sergei Rachmaninoff, volume 2. And why is this special? This is special because this is not Rachmaninoff's music played by someone else, but it's Rachmaninoff playing someone else's music. And I think these are the most valuable recordings that you can listen to. And this is an absolute treasure. And when you look at it, what it is, here it says that it is, there you go, there, it explains that this is a transfer that RCA made from 78 RPM shellac recordings. So it's really early recordings done by Rachmaninoff himself. So, and it doesn't list when were the recordings done, but early 1900s, late 1800s. So like really early technology, and you will be just absolutely stupendously shocked how good that sounds, and how good the piano sounds on this recording. Is just totally mind-blowing. However, you will never hear that if your gear is hardcore optimized to digital. Then it will sound like, okay, you will think that I am nuts for listening to that, but I am not nuts because I have the equipment to play it back at a level that that just connects me so deeply to Rachmaninoff. It's like Rachmaninoff is in my room playing directly, and it's actually it doesn't feel like he is in my room, but it feels more like I am being transported back in time to when he played the recording. So I feel like I'm 100 years in the past, and the air has changed, the atmosphere changed, and the way I breathe the air, what I breathe in is different compared to when the recording is not playing. And guess what? I just listened to it like last day, and you cannot see now, but let me just adjust a little bit. You see in the tiny baby there, the tiny AO speaker? I was listening to it through that speaker, not even the big ones. And even listening to those baby speakers, it just transported me back in time, and I was there when he was playing the music. And yes, if I was thinking about audiophile terms, yeah, I could have like said it, yeah, maybe there was some noise in it, of course, but guys, even though it's like a shellac transfer, there is background noise, there is surface noise, but it sounds like there's a piano playing which is crystal clear, unaffected by any noise, and there's a fireplace which is completely different, like two different sound sources. And that is when your system is good for analog, when you are at that level, that when there is some surface noise, it's totally different, separate from the musical event. And that's where modern digital gear totally fails, because when you play like the digital transfer of an LP, then there it is mushed together, and the noise is breaking apart the structure of the music, the structure of the instrument. But when you listen to it through a system that's optimized for analog, then that surface noise is something external, something independent from the music. It's like two different things happening, and it really sounds like having a campfire in the background. And not, it depends on the recording, whether it's a bigger campfire or not. Like it was a bigger campfire when I just first played it, but after ultrasound cleaning, it became a very negligible campfire with occasional pops and crackles. And I would go even to that length that it is that little occasional pops in the background, they are something of a calming nature and help your brain to focus on the music, to break apart your fixation on the everyday problems and issues, the tension that's in you. It's like a signal, okay, that it's just making you relax. It's like when you sit down next to a campfire and you are listening to the sounds of the fire, looking at the fire, it calms you. And it's the same thing that the surface noise of early recordings bring to the experience. And that's why I think it is important to get to know the technologies and recordings of different eras, because they give you fundamentally different experiences. And yes, with like listening to some of the Billie Eilish songs, for example, where she has like subsonic frequencies in the recording, they can be really haunting and extremely deep experiences, but in a very different way. These engage you in a totally different manner, totally different world, totally different universe, and these have the benefit to take you away from our century, from our present time. Because when you are listening to digital music produced today or in the past 20 years, what comes to you, still are not escaping your present day. You are stuck here in the modern age. And most of the time what I notice is when people start listening to music is because they want a shift in perception, they want a shift in what they experience, they want to experience something different. And when you are experiencing something in your own century, in your own decade, it's not going to relax you and fulfill you. You have to do time traveling. And time traveling is what recharges the body, it's what recharges the soul. And then it becomes an infinitely more powerful device, an infinitely deeper experience when you time travel, and not just space travel. Because listening to something that's playing today, not going to a concert, you listen to it from a recording, same thing. You listen to what's going on today, but instead of a concert hall or an arena or something, you are listening it at the comfort of your home, but you are still not escaping your present day and your present difficulties. And you don't even realize about that process and what it can bring you unless you travel like to a significant amount in time. And this was recorded when even my grandfather wasn't born yet. So that's just an insanely long period for human beings, about as long as our recording history goes back, and is just phenomenal. So part of it is just the experience to experience this phenomena of time traveling a century. But the other thing is that really you can experience the genius of Rachmaninoff. And of his time, he was the most virtuoso pianist. And at that time, I think virtuoso pianist meant something different than today. Today it means that he can press the keys as fast as no one else can and do the weirdest shit that no one can, and do the craziest bit. But back in Rachmaninoff's day, it meant depth of interpretation. And of course Rachmaninoff had amazing abilities, so you can see his fingers there. He had legendarily long fingers and just amazing reach. And of course when he wrote his own piano pieces and music, he really banged on that advantage that he can have like really wide fingering on the keyboard. So he used that as something of a bonus. But here on this record, like, he's playing like Bach partitas and other pieces like Chopin and Schubert, and then they did not go ape on producing shit that no one produced just for the sake of introducing some novelty, because the people are so dumb of his time that they constantly need some new triggering their brain, because they I would say they think that like Bach and Schubert is just so meh, past centuries old, if it was not produced in the past month, it's, you are listening to that old crap. Who are you? You are not snob enough, you are not high fashion enough, you're not hype enough. And we've had this attitude for decades and decades now. But this is just a testament that Rachmaninoff himself, he really was not just totally narcissistic about his own music, but he really was focusing hard on interpreting those who came before him. And whether or not you like his interpretation, you have to decide for yourself. For myself, I just put on the recording first without looking at what he's playing. And I honestly thought he's playing Rachmaninoff. And I was shocked that the piece that I heard was a Bach partita, because his interpretation was so far away from Bach that it didn't sound anything like a Bach partita. I thought I'm hearing a Rachmaninoff piece that I never heard before, and I was like wondering, like, which piece is that? Because I never heard anything like that from him. Like, these guys, like, wow, they found like pieces, like he's been like improvising, or what is he doing here? It just got me like really hyped up, like, oh, okay, what's going on? This is astonishing. And then I said, that was a Bach party? What? No, I must have been listening to the wrong side. No, that was side one. What? So I put on again, and I'm listening to it. Yeah, that's a Bach partita, but he's playing it Rachmaninoff. You'd never guess that it was a Bach partita if you never heard him play Bach partitas before. so he is like one of those pianists which really opened up the path to today's pianist and not just pianist but cellist and violinist, so that today and in the 20th century the big thing with being a musician and a top musician was to inject your own personality to the recording and put that in the limelight instead of focusing on what the original composer thought, how he constructed music. And when we go down the time throughout history, it has been passed down how the musicians interpreted their music, and there's like a lot of different interpretations as well, and there is no scientific way to say which is wrong and which is right. The only way you can know if an interpretation is faithful to the composer is by a lifetime of listening to the works of that composer. And I've been doing that since I've been actively listening to classical music since I was about 5 years old, and now I have like 40 plus years of listening to classical music. So I think I have like a decent understanding of the composers' worlds, universes, actually not all of them, but several. So some of which are really close to me, like Johann Sebastian Bach, Handel, Vivaldi, the Scarlattis, Schubert, Chopin, and a lot more. Jean-Philippe Rameau, Boieldieu, and a bunch more. I could go on and on and on. That each of them had a soul, that they had a way of interpreting music, and music is so much more than the sheet music that they wrote down. That's just the skeleton of the music. It's just like just the most primitive way how to convey the vaguely the music, and when you have when you are playing music yourself and you are learning, the greatest challenge when you grow out from your fledgling years, when you just learn about the technicalities, how to press the keys, what are the chords, you're learning music theory, etc., how to read the sheet music, those things, and became proficient with playing those buttons of which you read the notes on the sheet at the correct tempo. And when you reach there, today, this is thought as the top of the music. So when you can, without fail, read the notes on the sheet, right timing, and then there's like lots of notes on the paper, like full and like really lots of them, and you can play them all like nuts, then you are considered to be the top virtuoso on the planet. But that's not so. Then you are nothing, just a robot, a mindless robot. Where the pianist starts is going beyond that stuff, is making the connection to the music. And this is where the musicians separate to two different paths. There are some who stay at the level where they cannot connect to the music, they cannot connect to the soul of the music, and they just play the sheet, interpreting it as if a computer, as if an AI would interpret it. And there are those musicians who can make the connection and they internalize it, and then they can fill out those details which are not on the sheet, but which are at the core, at the fundamental essence of the music. And that's what Rachmaninoff is doing, and as essentially all of the big geniuses of in music did ever, or I think all of them did, is that they played themselves. So whatever he's playing Rachmaninoff. And then there's one more layer how you can grow beyond that. And for example, when we listen to the works of Claudio Arrau, the brilliant Chilean pianist, he went beyond that. So he was not satisfied of playing himself, but he just dug deeply into Beethoven, into Chopin, Schubert, and he just went deeper and deeper and deeper and made the connection to them. He made the connection to Chopin. He made the connection to Beethoven. And he stopped playing himself and he started playing these artists. So I think this is why listening to music is such a great adventure. And if you are a hardcore digital fan, you are going to miss out almost all of this, because most of this, what I'm talking about, is these great musicians, what they are playing, how they progress during their lifetime. You can access that only on analog media. And if you are listening to digital transfers, you are fudged, because it's not, the soul will be lost in translation. And what you will have is that it doesn't sound exactly as stuff recorded in our present day and age. Oh, I said that. And I thought I would never say this thing. It's just so cheesy on YouTube. Everyone is saying, in our day and age, like, what's that? It's a new expression that people are using, and I find it particularly distasteful. But now I used it because I wanted to exaggerate what's happening in the world of music and how we are listening to music, is that we are just so focused on the present, you are missing all the past. So basically, that's why it's important to get connected to life, because it's life. And life is not just lived in our present day, it has been lived on earth before you. And if you are not connected to your roots, to our roots, to the beginnings of music, then you cannot appreciate what we have today. So for me, appreciation for today's music is found by also getting connected to the music through the ages. This gives the whole spectrum and not just a single ultraviolet color from the spectrum, from the extreme. And if you think about that, this would be the infrared, like the opposites in time, beginnings of recorded history through the present day recorded music. And curiously enough, here's the interesting bit. If you optimize your stereo system with digital, for digital recordings, and not the ultra digital, which would be like Jean-Michel Jarre and even more modern stuff, which is just produced entirely on computers, but music that was recorded digitally, and maybe there's a human singing, there's like a jazz something going on. So it's a mixture of acoustic and digital technologies. That is the worst material to optimize your system with, because that will give you the narrowest option what you can listen and what you can enjoy with that kind of system. If you optimize your system with like a small jazz band recorded on 24-bit 192K or something, DSD or whatnot, then that system will not play well the ultra digital, which was entirely produced in the digital domain. It will do only good with music that was acoustic music, recorded in the digital domain, and not doing good with acoustic music recorded in the analog domain, etc. However, when you optimize for acoustic music recorded in the analog domain, it will open up the experience for everything. So if you optimize for the beginning of times when recorded history started, you have access to the entire recorded music of mankind. You can listen to anything and everything, and it will touch your soul, it will touch your heart, and it won't fuck with your mind. If you optimize it for today, the latest recording technology, but just get stuck with what the audiophile industry is touting today as the highest tech, I don't mind that. It is the highest tech, that's what we have. I have no words against that. But if you optimize for that, you are stuck there. And the rest of mankind, what mankind produced, those 100+ years will not be accessible to you, because it won't sound right, it won't even sound appealing, and it won't even sound acceptable or playable. And it's not because it's not playable, it is just absolutely mind-blowing, but your system is not capable of playing it, of bringing it to you in a way that is acceptable. And why you would think that, okay, János, you have that big speakers there, just like almost no one can build a speaker like that. Well, it's just impossible, and you've been optimizing your system for God knows how long. And look at that. I had that experience with that baby speaker. And that one, like the wood for that, was maybe like $100. It's a very simple build. The drivers, they were a dumpster find. You cannot get any cheaper than that. And this thing that I'm talking about, this can be experienced with that. You don't have to go to town with like big monster speakers to have that kind of experience. You can do that very modestly. And it's not about who can spend more money or something, but about quitting that mentality that I always have to chase the latest, have to watch the latest YouTube, you know, like, oh, someone said that, you know, that is cloned from China, and it just demolishes, like, this is like the ultimate, and you know, whatever, like endgame and the giant destroyer or whatnot. All of those words which do nothing else than just engage your brain, engage your attention, and hijack your attention from what really matters. And that way you will never ever have access to material like this, and you will just get stuck in a hamster wheel, and you think that to spin the hamster wheel faster you have to throw in money and more and more and more money, even if you are a newbie audiophile and you think, okay, I just put together a system for $1,000, but then next year you will notice that now you are putting in 2,000. 10 years to the future you are 50k, 20k in, and then 10 more years you are 100k in, and you're still not as satisfied as you were 10 years ago with your $1,000 system that brought you more enjoyment than now your 100k is bringing to you, because now your heart is so empty of chasing a dream that you forgot what your dream was in the beginning. Yeah, you heard Kintaro? Meow! That was Kintaro. Kintaro, come. Gyere, Kintaro. Kintaro. I'm trying to grab him. He's very heavy, very, it was tough, but I was successful. Look at that. Here's Kintaro. So he also has experience with music. And guys, you know that this is true by looking at their reaction. So when I listen to music, it's just priceless to see their faces and to see their concentration, and they are traveling with music when we listen to music. It is just incredible what happens and what what animals can appreciate from music is just phenomenal. So partially that's how you know that it is how good the music is, and what's happening, and our experience is real, that you see that your animals are sharing that experience with you. And yeah, so it's really deep. So when you start to see that the animals are reacting to the music as well, that's when you know that you are at the right path. And I think he wants to go outside, and he's antsy because we're not listening to any music, and I'm just bored because I'm talking, but I'm not talking to him, and this way it's a little bit boring. So yes, I think that was about it. So now I will have to go and edit the video, edit out that part when the camera cut out, and Kintaro says goodbye. And thank you for, I hope that it was useful for all of you to listen to this Audio Club Monday. And that's my message to you, that if you are happy with your gear and it's optimized to play music in our decade only, the most modern, latest recording technology, and you cannot listen to anything else in a satisfactory manner, don't worry. Maybe this is time for you to experience this, to experience the latest. But I can tell you from experience that time will come when you will get bored with only what we have today, and your soul will start to hunger to find your roots, to find the range of musical experience, and not be limited just to a sliver, to open up your tunnel vision. And when you are ready for that, then you can tune into the stuff I talk about, system synergy and systems building, and that's it. I have laid the path out for you, how to access the music of the centuries. So thank you, team. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.